Our next guest represents districts impacted. Joining us right now, National Guard Colonel, Congressman Michael Waltz himself, and Congresswoman Kat Cammack, whose husband is a firefighter over in Gainesville. Congresswoman Cammack, first off to you, what's Gainesville like? It's somewhat protected, but you're worried about the St. Johns River, right?
Yeah, good morning to you, Brian. And on behalf of all first responders across the state, thank you for what you're doing, and please be safe out there. Gainesville's largely been unaffected, but parts of our district up into the Jacksonville suburbs, we're seeing the storm surge up the St. Johns River. It's one of rivers in the world that flows north. So we are already seeing, of course, the flooding. And our area, both Rutherford, Waltz, and our area is completely saturated. So there's really nowhere for this water to go. And we're about to take on about 24 inches of rain in a 24-hour period. So the flooding and the standing water issues are going to be extraordinarily dangerous as we try to get people back to normal and back online.
Congressman Waltz, your areas get hit right now. And you have the ocean in the Ponte Vedra area, and you got the rivers, the intercoastal. Yep. What's your greatest concern? What are people telling you?
Yeah, it's a 1-2 punch, as Congresswoman Cammack rightly said. It's the flooding rivers, the flooding intercoastal waterway, the storm pushing all of that water from south to north, and then like a big right hook, the wind swinging around counterclockwise and then pounding from the east as well. Already completely, Brian, saturated. So I'm worried about people that are stranded. If anyone out there knows of someone that's stranded, the state of Florida has a website, floridadisaster.org/information. Where you can actually put that family member or that person that you know's stranded information in. So, look, Brian, I'm dreading this sunrise. We love Florida sunrises, but I am dreading this one. But our first responders, our National Guards, men and women, 1,200 of whom just got back from overseas, will be out there to do whatever they can, along with the Coast Guard, the Border Patrol. Everybody that can will be out there to help people. Right.
You got Mayport right there in northern Florida, so that's certainly a concern, but also an asset. Congresswoman Cammack, are you more worried about the wind or the rain?
Definitely for our area, we're looking at the rain being a real threat and a hazard. I can't emphasize this enough. The rain that we have taken on this year alone, we're already breaking records. Now you add in almost 2 feet or more of rain just isolated. That's going to have flash flooding. There's nowhere for it to go. You're going to have a lot of trees. Their root systems are not able to hold on. So you've got trees coming down. Those are major hazards that take down the power lines, block roads, and prevent people from rescue operations. So we are very, very cognizant of the flooding.
So, Congressman Waltz, Jacksonville, for the most part, doesn't really get hit that much. Irma changed things. Did the area become a little bit more hurricane savvy in the interim years leading to today?
Yes and no, Brian. Matthew, scraped up the coast as well. The internal flooding is really the problem. They're trying to become more resilient, but we also have 1,000 people a day moving into the state who have never been in any of these types of storms. And the thing is, we tend to lose more people in the aftermath of a storm through down power lines, asphyxiating themselves with running generators improperly and what have you. So, the entire Florida delegation, Republican and Democrat, have joined in supporting Governor DeSantis and requesting 100% reimbursement for all of the types of disaster aid, individual and public, that FEMA will provide. And Brian, let me just, my hat's off once again to our military. Those bases you mentioned, Cape Canaveral, Mayport, the military members stay there to keep it operating. Yeah. Their families, once again, are alone without their loved one to try to also handle this storm. So I just can't salute them enough.
Right. It's going to be interesting. We've got 40,000 ready to help, 7,000 National Guard ready for action. But you got to wait for the rain and wind to stop in order to do that while first responders go in, if they can, right in the middle of it. So we'll check in with both of you again. It's going to be Gainesville is certainly going to be challenged, but right now, Jacksonville, and that's where you represent. Thanks so much, guys.